And we're back.
We're back. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Hope everyone had a good 4th of July if you were in the United States.
I had so much fun yesterday.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, you could say. Anything you want to talk about before we get into it?
I bought new camera stuff.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
I got new stuff coming for the FX3. And I got you a new cage for your vlogging camera. I'm excited about all that kind of shit right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I think it's her music, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man. I'm really excited about the vlogging thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked that not just the community enjoyed it, you enjoyed my vlog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It was very long.
It was a very long vlog. I did not think that I recorded that much. Apparently, I do have a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of people on Patreon were saying that they want more mom content. The amount of women who are like, I totally relate to this, blah, blah, blah.
I think I am going to start recording mom content. I don't have an outlet.
Yeah.
You know, I have like 1 or 2 friends that I can reach out and talk to. But I don't really have an outlet to process my thoughts when it comes to being a mom.
That's what my vlogs were before when I had my other channel.
Yeah.
It was just me venting about everything, talking about life, the gym, business. It's like a therapist. It doesn't talk back. It just listens. And then you get to play it back and edit and hear how dumb you are sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But somebody asked if we have a 4th of July hangover. I have a 4th of July exhaustion.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. We went to bed at like 1 a.m. last night and I was up at 5:30.
Yeah, those fireworks went on for quite a while.
I didn't think that we had 2 hours worth of fireworks.
I did.
I was pretty impressive.
I'm centering you more.
Yeah.
Without having to get
Do I
up.
need to?
No, you're good. Don't move. I just moved you.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into this. I don't have anything. Unless you've got other things that you want to discuss, we should just jump into this.
No, not particularly. I just have the book today because life shit was happening and I lost track of time and days. And before I knew it, it was the day before.
Yeah.
My kitchen's organized. Things have been settled. The house isn't as much of a wreck anymore. I feel good in other aspects of my life right now that I was slacking on. So.
Yeah, the new schedule is definitely nice. It's been nice to not have to work every single day.
Yeah.
And I feel like we got a lot done with the house being that we had the last 4 days off.
Really, there's so much done. I'm so excited to vlog the kitchen and everything that I got. It looks so good in there. Do you think it looks good in there?
Yeah, it's getting there. It looks like I still got to get my NAS drive off of the counter and the Google Puck. But yeah, or the Eero system. It's an Eero system. I don't have a Google Home anymore. The Eero system. But yeah, it's getting there. The fucking house is getting there.
Yeah.
So
I want to do the living room next. I want to do like a whole.
Like, really?
Change it all.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that. We have a couple people that I'm trying to secure interviews for. We're recording, or we are interviewing a documentary filmmaker.
Yes.
On the 13th, which I'm super excited for because he was a photojournalist first. And when I say that, like, we're interviewing a filmmaker, like a documentary filmmaker, you think like some dude that's just walking around New York street, like recording shit.
No.
He was actually a photographer for the New York Times for a while, and he's done Netflix shit. Like he's professional.
Big. Yeah. I'm very excited to hear about his life experiences.
Me too. Especially when he starts talking about that migrant thing that he did. He walked for a month with migrants from Guatemala to Mexico.
That's insane to think about.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty sure is that at the end of Orange is the New Black, one of the women gets deported and she's trying to make that walk back and she gets left on the trail because she twists her ankle.
Yeah.
Like I cannot.
Yeah. There's videos of B-roll clipped into that video on his YouTube channel where there's parents with like sick kids and shit. Like it's a lot. The entire thing, like we'll have to sit down and watch that together.
Yeah.
But like I fucking took notes. I have so much shit that I want to talk to this dude about.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is going to be a very long interview.
Probably.
I'm very excited about
I'm going to
this.
ask him in the beginning before we start how much time he has to devote to that, because
Okay.
I don't want to, I mean, dude's busy. Like, I'm not trying
Right.
to be like, hey, do you have 5 hours for a conversation? So,
It's going to be a Zoom call, right?
yeah.
Okay.
What chapter are we starting on?
So this is chapter 4.
Okay.
We're starting on chapter 4. AJ just hit me with a smoke check. So one must abide by the tribe rules. TikTok, I'm going to cover you guys for a moment. I'll hit this thing as long as it allows me to. I know we're not doing comments, but I need to come off of that hit for a second. Do you see that one from Deja Vu?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Nope.
Why?
Because it comes down to recognizing that your boyfriend has some sort of something that he can't control.
Yeah.
Have empathy.
Okay.
Understand that he can't control that. If you had something that you couldn't control and you were constantly doing shit to him that bothered you, wouldn't you want him to have the same empathy?
I was going to say we can talk on that because I do that.
We both do that to each other.
Right.
All fucking time. And it's annoying as shit.
Yeah. There are definitely times where I can tell it's a big issue when I'm interrupting. Like, you're definitely annoyed at this point. I'm like, okay, I really, really need to check. It also helps when you go, I need you to stop fucking interrupting me.
Yeah.
Because there's times I really just don't even recognize that I'm interjecting. I agree. It does come down to empathy. So, like I said,
I'm going to plug that interview one more time, because what we just talked about at the end of that video where he is talking about that migrant train, he said one of the most important things to remember in the filmmaking career is that you need to, hang on, let me go get my book and a drink.
okay, dope. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. My hair, so last night, everybody showered before bed because it was just raining firework debris. We were covered in soot and we smelled like smoke. So everybody showered before bed. So I showered last night instead of this morning. And my hair is very floofy. I look like Slash from Guns N' Roses when my hair is dried and brushed out. So that's what this is. This is the buns get extra poofy when I don't wash my hair the same day.
I actually needed to have my notebook here anyways, just in case you were saying something and I needed to take notes. But
Okay.
the very last thing that I wrote down from that, his name is Luke Forsyth. Is he said that with his filmmaking career, remember to stay humble, practice empathy, and don't take yourself so seriously. That shit needs to be on a fucking t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I really live by that.
Yeah.
I really can't take myself seriously. If I took myself seriously, I'd probably be a drug addict on the streets.
Yeah.
If I thought every thought I had was serious and like I just went with it, oh my gosh. My life would be a mess. I'd be a wreck. There is so much control and discipline and willpower that comes with making me function as an adult. All right, so getting into chapter 4, he's talking about total behavior. And total behavior is a 4-component working machine. So there are 4 gears that turn. And these 4 gears might not be directly touching each other, but when one gear turns, all other 3 are turning by some way or another, okay?
Okay.
So he gets into this and he starts talking about this gentleman named Todd. So Todd comes to see him, and Todd is severely depressed. He says that the need for psychotherapy, or at least for extensive psychotherapy, would be reduced if capable people, such as this young man, Todd, knew and used choice theory in their lives. But he doesn't know it, so it is my job to teach him as part of the counseling. What I will teach him that he is not satisfied with the present relationship and the problem that always brings people to counseling. His past could have contributed to the problem, but even though most current psychotherapists initially focus on it, the past is never the problem. I had to reread that like 4 times.
Right. This because of this book and me reading it 4 times all the way through. I obsessed over this book for about 2 months.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with the really lengthy backstories now when we read emails, when people tell us about their childhood history and shit, because it's not relevant to what's happening currently.
Right. Like, what's the work that you did?
Beyond
That's
that.
what I want to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Off topic, kind of on topic, relevant to what's currently being talked about.
Okay.
I posted that No One Can Make You Angry video on TikTok. That was from episode 29. And somebody was like, so you're saying PTSD doesn't exist? And I'm like, I actually didn't say that anywhere in the video. I'm saying that you have the ability to control you. It's a choice.
Yeah.
You know your triggers. And if you can't handle your triggers, don't put yourself in the situations where you're going to be triggered. That's your choice. That's just one example of how you have a choice. And I could do that all day long. That is the prime example of that. So you went through all this horrible shit in your childhood. It happened to you. You can't change it. What have you done to work through that? And if you haven't done anything to work through it, that is a you problem. So in this scenario where he's like, I don't ask people about their past because it's not relevant to right now, he's not fucking wrong.
Right.
And that's a doctor, a psychologist saying that shit.
Yes, this is somebody with letters behind his name.
Their name. Yep.
Yeah. So he says that the past is never the problem because it's not. It is your current decision to focus your attention on the past issues.
Right.
He goes on to say that it is very, very rare in his experience for a man to come in and say, I have problems with my girlfriend, I'm depressed. In his experience, very men go to therapy over a girlfriend or over a wife. That is something they tend to just kind of bottle down, and it is what it is. They stay in the relationship and they're miserable. In this case, the man came to therapy because his wife just up and left with a note on the fridge. Packed all of her shit, was gone. And he couldn't understand why.
Because he didn't listen.
Exactly. So he goes on to say, I believe he is choosing the misery he is feeling. What I will teach him is that he is choosing to depress to deal with something his wife is doing that he doesn't want her to do. Example, leaving.
Can you read that again?
No explanation.
Read that again.
I believe he is choosing the misery he is feeling.
Okay, read it one more time.
I believe he is choosing the misery that he is feeling.
He is choosing. Okay.
Choosing.
Yes. Got it. It's a choice.
Really, everything in life is a choice. And I'm getting that so engraved in the kids now. When they ask a question, it's yes or no.
Yeah.
I don't need a backstory because I do that to the kids.
Yep.
Do you want something to eat? It's a yes or no question. It's not, do we have grapes? Do we have bananas? What's Chris doing?
I heard that this morning. I actually heard that this morning.
It is, would you like something to eat? Yes or no? And then we'll follow up with the question, okay, well, what would you like to eat? So now they're getting to the point of, they'll ask me, Mommy, can we go to the park? Yes or no?
Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
Because they don't want to hear, give me 10 minutes, I need to do the dishes.
I heard that yesterday. Okay. I heard that yesterday, and I was in another room, and I went, that little motherfucker. And then it dawned on me that he wasn't being a dick.
He wasn't.
He was doing the same thing to you that you do to them with the yes or no question thing. But like, I almost came in there and I'm like, bro, who are you talking to? That's your mom. Like, and then the conversation continued. I was like, that is him.
Right. He's being direct.
Understanding choice theory and being direct. And
Yes.
I almost went in there and high-fived him, but by the time I would have got in there, he wouldn't have understood the high five or why it was coming. But that shit's funny to me.
Wasn't that insane to witness though?
Yeah. Yep.
Like they are understanding.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment, you have a choice. It's yes or no.
You know he's going to do that to somebody that doesn't understand that. Probably at school and get in trouble. So when the teacher calls,
I'm going to explain that
says,
to them.
Yeah.
It's a yes or no question.
Be like, we're teaching our children to be direct.
Yes.
We're raising young men.
You know, I've never had an issue picking up the kids. I actually hear the opposite constantly. Your son is so sweet. He is so gentle. He's so understanding.
Yep. Takes work.
It does.
It's hard for me when we're in public and people say shit like that, not to be like, well, you know, if you spent on average, the average person in America spends less than 40 minutes a day with their children. Mm-hmm. That's uninterrupted. You should double that time You have a good kid too.
I literally spend all of my time with the kids when they're here.
Yeah, you guys played water guns yesterday for over an hour.
Yeah, and then we were outside taking pictures of a bee, a really fat bee. I hope I got a good picture of him. I don't know if I did.
You didn't take the card out of the camera and put it on your computer, did you?
No, I just put it down somewhere and you picked it up and said, I'm moving this. It was on the counter. I put it on the counter. I had the camera on the counter because I came in and I put it down.
Well, then the world will never know if you got those bee photos.
Because it was formatted.
It was formatted. Because we needed to record. Womp, womp, womp.
This is why you don't procrastinate.
Yeah. It leads to failure.
I'll get to it later. I am the prime example of that right now. What I will teach him is that he is choosing to depress to deal with something his wife is doing that he doesn't want her to do. I will explain why I changed the adjective depressed to the verb to depress.
It's a verb. To shank.
You did that and my mind went, it's a verb. Do, 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 do.
That's funny.
I get excited about learning. The kids are going to have such a fun time when I teach them.
Yeah.
Until I get agitated and then I walk away. I'm like, okay, we're going to have quiet time now. Where was I? Oh, he was explaining his process. He gets in depth explaining, like changing it from an adjective to a verb. We were up until 1:00 last night reading this. I was up until 1:00 last night reading this, and you suffered with me because I procrastinated.
I got a video edited last night.
You did do that, yeah. And then again this morning at like 5:30, I'm sitting in the living room with my headlamp on because our daughter woke up last night and she just like sleeping in the living room, I guess. So she's on one couch, I'm on the other with my little headlamp reading. And I'm reading this and I'm like, I'm stopping and I'm taking a hit and I'm like, oh my God, he really just said that. And I'm like, it makes sense. And I've never thought of it that way. And now I can never go back.
Yeah.
It's insane. So he does this change to emphasize the choice that we are making in everything. When something is an adjective, it is happening to you, is a way that he explains it. When you view something as it is happening to you, you have no control in the situation. A very extreme example of that is somebody snatching you. If you were just grabbed on the street and shoved into a van and you were taken to an unknown location, there is zero choice in that.
Do you believe that?
Getting snatched, if you were walking on the street and someone grabs you and takes you into a van, you did not have a choice in being grabbed that way.
No, you didn't. But you have a choice of what you can do in the moment.
Afterwards, yes.
No,
everything.
in the moment. You
right.
can scream. You can not scream. You can try to fight. You can not try to fight.
Right.
There's always a choice. May not be a good one.
Right.
But there's always a choice.
You're right. You can choose to do those things.
Right.
Everybody would try to. Yes. There is a choice in that situation to be made.
I know what you meant, though.
Yes. Thank you. He likes making my life hard. In more than one way.
Oh, man.
It's AG1 greens, guys. That's got me feeling so good.
As you're drinking it in an Axon Sledge cup and you didn't even show anything. You just showed the liquid.
It's the green. And I had it held so you couldn't see it.
Yep. That's funny.
I really like it with that almond milk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, William approaches his counseling with two options. He says if his patients choose one option, they will already start to notice changes in their mental health for the better. If they choose both options, you're just going to skyrocket. You're going to take all of the information, you're going to run with it. If one refuses the options, not only will he stay in the same position, he's going to go on a decline. Every day it's going to get worse. And he does clarify that these choices, nobody's going to like. The choices presented to you, you're probably not going to like either of them. You're going to have to choose your hard.
Right.
So he presents the choices. First, he can choose to change what he wants his wife to do. Or second, he can choose to change the way he is dealing with her. Depending on which option he wants, he may choose one, do the other, or both. So in this situation, he said his first option is that he can, what did he say? He can choose to change what he wants his wife to do. So his wife left, no conversation. She left a note on the fridge. It was 2 letters, so long. And that was it.
2 words.
2 words. I said 2 letters.
You did.
I did. 2 words. I almost did it again. 2 words on a letter.
She would have been a pro if she'd have said, thanks for all the fish. Somebody in the chat will get the reference.
I don't understand.
So long, so long, so long, and thanks for all the fish. Anyone? Bueller.
I get that.
I'm glad you get that one.
That's that movie.
Don't forget your towel. How about
My
that
what?
one? Don't forget your towel. Same movie. Meaning of life is 42. Anyone? Really? Oh, there's a delay.
That's hilarious. Oh, we got people saying 42 in the chat on TikTok. They get it.
Someone said to check TikTok. There's a warning issued.
A warning issued?
Yep, that's what AJ just sent me. I don't know.
Huh. Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was crazy intoxicated when I watched that movie, so I don't really remember anything from it. So we just getting back to it?
Yep.
Should I end TikTok?
I probably would, just so you don't get a ban. If there's been a warning issued, you might as well just kill it now.
I didn't even get the warning, though.
Somebody did, because AJ sent it. Somebody saw it. It might have just popped up in the comments. I don't know. I don't go live on TikTok like that.
Oh, they're saying it's a scam.
Oh, okay. Then don't worry about it.
That's a troll. Oh, thank you guys. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess people pop in there and say warning shit to get people go off lives or whatever.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. So he can choose to change what he wants his wife to do. So right now he wants her to come back home and he wants to have the life that they had and the relationship they have, and he doesn't want her to leave. He can choose to change what he wants her to do. He could want her to be happy. He could want her to go live her life, and if that means that she's happy with somebody else, if he really loved her, he would accept that. Mm-hmm. Or he can choose to change the way he's dealing with her. So right now he's depressed. He said he hasn't gone to work in a week. He's choosing to stay home. He's not doing any of his activities. He's sitting on the couch scrolling his phone. If he chooses to change the way he's dealing with it, maybe I'm going to start going on hikes in the morning. Have a little me time. Maybe sort my thoughts and how I'm really feeling about things. Go to work, distract myself. Maybe throw myself into work and maybe get a promotion. The way that you choose to deal with things is going to be a direct outcome on your personal life. Because of the 4 agreements, it takes everything in me not to say dream.
We got to record for that this week, too.
Yeah, I have to sit down and read that. Good thing tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't had a break, even though we had a break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been doing other shit. We actually still have other shit we have to record. We still have to record another episode this week. We didn't do it yesterday.
No, we didn't.
Because of the kids being home.
Okay, so Friday I'm going to read. Next page. So whenever we feel bad, it does not seem like it is a choice. It seems as if it is happening to us. After 2 to 3 sessions, this is exactly what Todd began to understand, that things do not just happen to us. We choose the things that is a direct correlation to what happens to us.
Right.
In his case, it was too late to help his marriage. His wife had left him before he came to see me, and he did not come back. But these same choices were helpful with the next woman, whom he later married. If he treated her the way that he had treated his first wife, that relationship would not have had much of a chance either. So if you just wallow in the misery and the depression, and you're looking for that pity me, give me the validation that it's not my fault, you are going to repeat every single mistake that you made in every single previous relationship and every single future relationship you make. Because you look back at all your relationships and go, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Should have never, that was a mistake relationship. That didn't even happen.
Right.
It didn't even make it past the 90-day subscription. Like, doesn't count. So, the way that he has woven choice theory into his therapy counseling is through reality therapy. That is another book that I have that I plan on breaking down.
So reality theory, from what Pamela said, is that reality therapy is choice theory in practice.
Implemented, yeah.
Implemented, right.
So it's written by the same guy, I think.
It is.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to read that book because he does give a little insight on how he implements the reality therapy into his choice theory counseling.
Gotcha.
So he asks Todd, what I need is the story. Tell me what is on your mind. And Todd says, I'm depressed and I feel terrible. I'm so upset I haven't been able to go to work for a week. And then he asks, are you blaming anyone for how you feel? Who thinks to ask that question when somebody is having a complaining session? I'm depressed. I'm so unhappy. Oh, I wish you would. I hope you feel better. What can I do to help you feel better? You want to go do something? You want something to eat? There was never that follow-up question of, well, is there anybody making you feel this way? Are you blaming anybody for this?
Yeah.
I have never thought to ask that.
I always see what we can do about it.
Right. You know, a lot of the time. Okay, my whole train just derailed because I'm thinking on a whole new thought. Misery is very prevalent in today's society. Like, humanity as a community is just miserable. And I would say 9 out of 10 times, it is always because of somebody else. If my mom just let me do what I wanted to do, if she just treated me like an adult, if my wife just trusted me, if my husband would just listen to how I feel, I would feel better. I'd be happier. And I just lost my whole other train of thought because my mind's just fucking going.
Well, none of that would matter anyways, because none of that is a you thing. That's
Right.
all other people giving you external data to make you make a decision to feel better, instead of just going, okay, I can't control them.
Right.
I can control me, and I want to feel better. Prime example of all of this, and I know that the people who are in Discord and on Patreon have saw the depression that I went through over the last 4 or 5 days. I vlogged about it a little bit. We talked about it. All of the shit that I was going...
You're talking. I haven't eaten.
All of the... Oh, man, what a thing to look up to. All of the shit that I was going through and all of that was not because of the external data of things that people said to me. It was because of the way that I processed that external data and made it... I had to look inward at what I'm doing in my life. And me having to rip apart me and my choices and the way that I am doing things was very difficult for me, because I needed to find whether or not there was any truth to what was being stated. And it fucked me up because I had to overanalyze my entire life over and over again, and it's not easy to do that.
Right. Would you say that that affected you the way it did because it kind of validated like an underlining fear?
It was absolutely fear. It was 110% fear. We talked about this last night a little bit in the kitchen. My biggest fear in life right now is failing you. So when people make statements like that, I have to really fucking address what's being said, because even though it's shit talking, there could be a truth behind that. So if there is somewhere that I have dropped the ball, that I've missed, that some stranger happened to catch, I need to fucking catch it.
Right.
So it's hard. You know what I mean? And when you are looking at things that you are like super afraid of failing at, and having that fear of, oh God, am I actually failing?
It's just hard.
It's difficult. And it's one of those things that like I hyperfixate.
Yeah.
So, and I know that the way that I was feeling was a choice, but there's no but. It was a choice.
Yeah.
I could have processed that while feeling happy, but it just sucked for me. So I allowed it to consume me.
Sometimes you have to let it consume you.
Yeah.
When when you are facing things head on, you're going to have to walk. You're going to have to walk through it. The only way through is to go.
Right.
And I think that the long drawn out bouts of depression is when either you're too scared to face it. So you're just kind of like staring down this dark alleyway. You can't see the end of the tunnel. There's no light because you're not walking. You just see darkness. That's fucking depressing. Or you can be in this tunnel, walking down it in the wrong direction. You know, there could be, you had your stint of depression for like what, a year or two?
No. My last real depression lasted for about 5 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was a year.
But that was true depression. Like I wanted to control or delete myself every single day. I was just about to chime in and say, do you really think that the last 4 days of my life was depression?
No, I don't think it was depression. I think that was...
It was a hyper fixation on inflecting on my life. I was fixated on something. I wasn't depressed. I didn't want to cry about it.
It was hyper focusing.
I wasn't like not eating. I mean, I did have one day where I didn't eat, but we were busy and I was just not hungry.
Right.
But I wasn't laying in bed in the fetal position crying, and like I wasn't in the shower for an extra 45 minutes. Like I wasn't depressed. I've been clinically depressed. There's a dog dick gnat flying around my fucking head.
I would say from an outside perspective, what it looked like you were doing, it really looked like you were just on autopilot on the outside. And there was just fire, chaos, files flying everywhere in your brain, and you're trying to put out fires.
Right. But it wasn't depression.
No.
But yeah.
It just seemed like your attention was elsewhere, and it was definitely an emergency. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So he then goes on to ask, are you blaming anybody for how you feel?
Can I pause you for just a second? Lorraine said, why not take it to Peaches instead of the internet?
Take what to Peaches?
The conversations that we've had over the last week about what I was going through. I didn't take it to the internet. I gave you guys a small insight of what was going on to my life in the vlog. You and I had much deeper conversations. You guys get one small percentage of our life versus what we actually have.
You guys don't see or hear the 4 or 5 hour conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
My 5 or 10 minutes conversation in a vlog is just me keeping everyone up to date in what's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. There was no real, true, in-depth problem solving in those moments. That happened with you and I.
Right.
Okay. I have Pop-Tart crust on my desk from the other night's live.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm done.
So he asked her, are you blaming him for how you feel? And he asked that because he knows from experience, majority of the time, husband, wife, parent, child, it is somebody else causing the issues, and it's almost always a long-term relationship that's causing the problem. So he says, yes, it's my wife. She left. About a week ago, I came home from work, and she's usually there, but she wasn't. I didn't think too much about it. Sometimes she has things to do. But an hour went by and she hadn't called, and then I noticed it. And that made me pause. Because I read the chat and got distracted.
Yeah, I'm closing these screens down.
Okay.
AJ, if you need me, you have to message me. I can't do this. There's too much screen shit going on, and it's affecting my life.
So that made me pause because I don't ever just assume you're doing things. We have conversations in the morning. What's the day look like? What's the rundown? What are we doing? What has to get done? When something happens that is outside of that rundown, we always notify the other person because it's going to affect each other's schedules. I couldn't imagine coming home, you not being here, and just going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even if you were working, if you're home majority of the time by 6:30 and it's 8 o'clock at night, that's not something I'm just going to brush aside, even if it happens maybe once every 2 weeks.
Right.
It's, hey, babe, I have to stop and get gas. Hey, I'm running late. I'm getting overtime. I have to stop by the grocery store.
I misread Lorraine's chat, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, she said, why not take Peach's word for it?
Oh.
Because it wasn't a matter of your word. that scenario that I was dealing with was a me problem.
Oh, yeah.
So you can tell somebody you're doing great all you want, but if they're ripping things apart to try to find where they can improve, I mean, isn't that what you want from your person? Like, if you were like, "Hey, how you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm okay." Wouldn't you really rather me be honest with you and like really like delve into me, and if I'm really going through something, be able to express why and then have that discussion?
Yeah, if you are crumbling and falling apart on the inside and there's like self-destruction happening and there's riots, and I'm over here frolicking in a green garden with a flower crown and I have no idea what's going on with you, I think life's okay.
Yeah. But that introspection has to happen in order to have those discussions.
Right.
Okay. I'm not being mean to Lorraine. I wasn't trying to be shitty. If my last comment came across that way, that was definitely not my intent. So I've closed the chats.
Okay.
Everything is closed over here. So
Okay. So I read that and that just kind of blew my mind.
yeah.
I don't think that we keep tabs on each other. I think it's just common decency to have communication of, hey, this is where I'm at, so I'm not sitting here worried about you being in a car accident or in a hospital or whatever. There are people who have issues in their marriage and there's trust issues. And if they don't hear from them, they're supposed to be home by 5 o'clock and now it's 6:15. Is he cheating on me? Why haven't I heard from her?
I really think that a lot of that comes down to common decency.
Yeah.
It's not hard to just be, forthright with people.
Right. And then he said, then I noticed it. And he asked, noticed what? And Todd said, a note from her, held by a magnet on the fridge, 2 words, so long. And she was gone. I went to the bedroom, and her stuff was all cleaned out, all of her clothes, everything. And I was devastated. I mean, I love her. How could she do that to me? When people ask me questions like that, I never answer that question. I'm not even going to, can't speculate. Unless you give me the information of what's happening, how you were treating the person, what the situation was going on, how she was treating you. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, man, like you did your best.
Yeah.
You did everything you could. You're such a good man. That's me talking out of the side of my neck. I'm not going to do that.
Right, because we don't know.
Right, I'm not doing that. So William says, I can't tell you how, only she knows that, but I wonder why. That's a big move. She must have been really upset about something. What do you think it was? And him asking that question, you know what you fucking did.
Yeah.
You know what she nagged about. You know what she complained about. You know when she came to you and said, hey, this bothers me. Todd goes on to say some shit that made me not like Todd. Todd gets it together. Todd figures it out and gets it going. Todd was definitely foggy-minded, though. So Todd says it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I just don't know. She just left. When a client says it's hard to say, he usually knows what's really going on but doesn't want to talk about it.
Right.
He may have to admit that he had more to do with what happened than is comfortable. I just break through that reluctance by acting as if it wasn't there. I'm going to be honest, I've been kind of doing that with people in my life. I'm not going to pussyfoot around and be like, oh man, that sucks. Oh, you don't want to talk about it? Okay. No, I'm going to, if you want to have a conversation with me and we're going to problem solve, you're going to get a little bit uncomfortable. There are times where I look at you, I'm like, I'm uncomfortable right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know how this makes me feel, but we're going to find out. Because I don't know what I am and okay with and what I am not okay with until I personally experience it.
Right.
I climbed to the top of that lighthouse in St. Augustine, absolutely petrified, shaking, hugging the damn wall, shimmying, submerging
I need you to
tears.
show me the shimmy again. Okay, just checking.
Why?
Because that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Every once in a while with you in front of me, I'd put my hand up. I wouldn't touch him, but my hand's there, like just in case. Like if I needed to, he's there to catch me because he's more stable than I am. I am not. My hands don't work. I don't want to figure out my feet don't work either, especially at the top of a lighthouse. We got to the top of that lighthouse, did the thing. I cried a little bit, walked around the top of it, thanked the guy for trying to comfort me. Went back down shaking. And I was like, I'd do that again. Let's go. Because I enjoyed that experience.
Right.
Standing up there and seeing the water, and like there was an island or a sandbar that wasn't there before.
Yep.
And it's because the land's rising or sea levels are dropping, whatever he said. I was petrified. And I felt the wind in my face, and I'm going trying to get it all out of there. And I'm like, wow, this never happens on the ground. And I'm just experiencing all of these new things, and it was so fun. Just because my body had a reaction of being scared doesn't mean that me, Peaches, was terrified. You don't control me, body. I'm going to go live life and have fun. I don't know why I side railed like that.
I don't either. But I remember at one point you going, I almost told you I wasn't willing to go any higher on the steps.
I was, yeah.
That's your brain, not your body.
That was my brain, yeah.
Yep.
I was standing right there. I was looking up at you. You asked me to take pictures of you. And I'm holding onto the wall, and I have my camera. And I'm like, click. And I'm like, oh, no, that was a bad photo. I'm trying my best. I really didn't want you to know that I was as scared as I was. Because I'm not a bitch. I was like, he can't know. I talked so much shit. And then it got to the point where I really felt like my body was going to stop me. It was going to prevent me from going forward because I was shaking so much. And that's when I looked at you, I was like, I don't think I can do it. And I think that's when it like really registered, because like I was really trying to hold back the tears. I think at first you thought I was fucking with you. And then it really registered, and you're like, nah, babe, you got this. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay, he's telling me I got this. You got to do it. Go. Like, he didn't marry you for nothing. Like, get it? And I climbed up the stairs, and I'm standing up there, and I'm looking at this man. And I'm like, I'm fucking terrified. And I did it, and we had an absolutely amazing experience, and there's an absolutely amazing photo of us at the top of this lighthouse. I love you.
I knew you were about to say that.
I love reminiscing about us.
Yeah.
That moment could have never happened. You could have gone up there by yourself, taken your photos. I could have stood there panicking.
Yeah, we'd have just left. I wouldn't have gone up.
Watching these people walk past me.
Are you going to be okay to go zip lining?
I'm going to go ziplining.
You going to be okay with rappelling? Because you have to rappel when you zip line.
I've always wanted to rappel.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do that. It always looks so cool. It's like G.I. Joe shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, SWAT team. Let's go. I'm gonna live so
Are
many.
you gonna da-da-da, as you rappel?
Whoever the fuck is our ziplining instructor, I'm gonna look and be like, hey, can I play something real quick while I do this? And I'm gonna play the SWAT team music as I go down. What's the main SWAT team? What's his name?
Hondo.
I'm gonna be like, I'm Hondo. Rappelling down the building. Gonna save a guy.
Standing out of a helicopter.
I'm gonna hit the ground. I'm gonna like squat it and be like, and I'm going to finish it. And I'm going to live my moment. And I don't care what anybody else is thinking, because I don't take myself seriously.
Oh my God.
I'm living my life to the fullest extent.
So we're buying GoPros.
Yes.
Yeah, because that needs to be vlogged.
I
can't be the only one to witness that.
So I was watching this comedian on TikTok, and I can't recall his name. Absolutely hilarious. I believe he's handicapped. I'm not certain. His brother's handicapped, and he makes fun of his brother. And I guess his brother, needs like care. He can't live on his own, can't like brain of like a 10-year-old, I believe. And he was making fun of his brother, and his brother's favorite thing to say is motherfucker. So he'll say a bunch of gibberish and then hit people with that and then run away. And his brother's like 40. And his brother wanted to go to Burger King, so he takes his brother to Burger King and he parks in the handicap spot because they're handicapped. And he was like, no lie. This guy leaned out the window and his head was like this big. And he was like, you can't park there. And he was like, and then his brother gets out the car and he was like, bro, these two handicapped people are getting ready to fight in a Burger King parking lot. And his brother whipped this other handicapped dude's ass. And then he gets home and he takes out his like WWE championship belt and he's walking around. He's like, I'm the champion. And I'm like, he's living his moment. And I was in the shower the other day and Danger Zone came on while I was in the shower. And I had a whole moment where I put on the aviators and I was like, I am Top Gun. Like I replayed the Top Gun high five and shit. And I was like, I'm going to live my life. Everybody can be happy doing whatever the hell they want to do. We're not going to judge handicapped people for living their life because they're happy.
Did you high five yourself in the shower?
Boom, boom. It wasn't good, but it satisfied the fantasy. In the
I don't
moment.
think you'll ever have another high five like you and Zach had.
That will never happen again.
That was the perfect high five. Like,
Never.
good contact, top and bottom. No eye contact. You weren't looking like
Yeah.
the stars aligned for that high five.
That weekend was amazing.
We should probably get back to the book.
We really should.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. So when the client says it's really hard to know why, I don't know why she left. It couldn't have been me. She never said anything. He knows what he did. He knew what the complaints were. He knew what the nagging was. It's hard to say. Well, say it anyway. This is a place to say hard to say things. So Todd says, well, I don't really think I am, but she had been saying that I was too domineering, that I called all the shots, but the funny thing was I thought she liked it. Todd, how can you tell me she's saying you're too domineering and then say, but I thought she liked it?
Because he doesn't want to take accountability. He doesn't want to look like a piece of shit in front of somebody else. That's why most of those people won't just say what the fuck is going on in the beginning of the conversation.
You look like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You already look like a piece of shit. You look less of a piece of shit when you take accountability for
Right.
it. When you man up and own up to it, and this applies to women. We all put our bra on one arm at a time if we wear bras. Sorry. So we all need to man up, own our shit, and just say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too much. I didn't take their feelings into account when I made decisions. I probably never even asked them what they thought about it. All the decisions I made directly correlated to their life and affected them, and I didn't ask one single opinion about how they felt about it. Own up to it, acknowledge it, change the behavior, never repeat it again, and you're no longer a shitty human being. Outside of extreme offenses, I don't think anybody should be held to their past, especially if their current behavior is a 180 from who they used to be. When somebody puts years, decades into changing who they are as a human being to be a better person, that falls back into punishing somebody for one crime more than once. So he said that that she would claim that he's too domineering. He thought that she liked it. She's a lot younger, 10 years younger to be precise, 23 years old. I know more than she does. I thought she liked that when I always took over. And then I wrote next to that, really, Todd? And then William goes on to ask, well, what have you been doing since she left? Asking somebody that question who is in the throes of a depression, or neglecting household chores. I never have any time. You don't have any time? Yeah, I can see the house is messy. The laundry's not put away. Backyard's a mess. So what have you been doing? You don't work. Oh, you're on the couch? Oh, you're depressed. Okay, so in these moments, even in depression, you still have the choice to either sit on the couch and be miserable, or you can sit up and still maintain a sanitary, healthy lifestyle while depressed.
Right.
It's a difficult thing to do. I'm depressed majority of the time. Y'all would never fucking know it. Y'all would really never truly know how depressed I am inside of my fucking brain. It is such a struggle every single day to wake up and find the good moments and to turn off those negative thoughts and to thrive. It is a choice that I make every single fucking day. Those moments where I'm standing outside and I'm looking at the wind, it's because in those moments I'm thinking about unaliving myself and I'm appreciating the earth a little bit more. Everything that I do in my life, majority of the time, is done deliberately and with intention. I force myself to think of positive thoughts. I force myself to prepare for situations that a lot of people don't prepare for, like my kids moving out. One day, my kids are not going to be a part of my daily life. I might go a month or two without speaking to them. And I'm mentally preparing for that now, and that's not going to happen for probably another 15 years. I'm going on a tangent, and you look bored.
No, I'm listening.
So what have you been doing since she left? And he said, I haven't gone to work. I've had people reach out to me. People are giving me attention. I'm just sitting at the house hoping she's going to come home. So he's missing out on income. His house is falling apart. He's probably not showering. He's not maintaining himself. I firmly believe that I am not my thoughts. Everybody has intrusive thoughts. At least once while I'm on the interstate going 80. There's a tree over there.
Yeah.
At least once when I'm on the interstate. I am not my thoughts. I have some intrusive thoughts. I'm like, okay, that's why. Why are we here? Don't, you're not welcome. And those thoughts are behind a plexiglass that I don't revisit. You focus your attention on things. If you have an intrusive thought of my life is absolutely miserable and here's why, and you focus on those thoughts, that's what your life is going to become.
That's what you're paying attention to.
Right. And that's what he was doing. My life is awful. She's left me. She's gone. She didn't tell me why. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. And then he's getting outside attention, for example, from guys at work.
AJ said to kill the TikTok.
Okay. All right. I just got the notification to end this. So bye, guys. If you want to continue watching, go over to the YouTube channel, the number 2, Be Better. I'll see you guys there. I'm so hungry and exhausted.
Well, the sooner we get through this, the sooner we can eat.
You want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
So we are on page 67 right now, out of 86. So this might be a 2-part thing.
Okay.
Because we are already an hour into this, and I have gone like 4 pages.
I mean, it just means you don't have to prep next week. See, look at you looking out for yourself. Future you is taken care of by past you.
I do that a lot. Sober me looks out for
Medicated?
slightly elevated me.
Medicated?
Medicated
you?
Medicated me. That was a good catch.
Yeah.
I caught that.
Trying to not get us kicked off this shit.
I'm really proud of myself. It's very hard for me to catch things in the moment. Like it took me 3 weeks to break that mommy thing instead of just saying I. So I'm really trying to see. I listen to you. I retain things. So he asked, well, what have you been doing? And he was like, well, I've heard about depression, but I never realized what it was. And I'm kind of paralyzed. William doesn't respond to the remark because he can't offer Todd anything that would directly help him feel better. So I would also just kind of sit in silence. You hit me with I'm paralyzed. Okay, are we going to elaborate or are we just going to... That sucks. I wouldn't say that sucks. After a prolonged period of time...
That's why you're not a therapist.
No, I wouldn't say that sucks. If there's a prolonged period, if they say, well, I just feel paralyzed... That's the end of the sentence? Were you going to go anywhere with that thought? Is there anything else you're thinking behind that? I'm not going to say, okay, well, this is what you need to do to feel better. We're exploring it. Oh, no. I used to hate when people said that.
We have a $50 super chat to read.
Okay, I'm going to take a hit so I can...
You're going to medicate?
Medicate.
Hey guys, this is from Kim. Hey guys, started watching you guys and I love you both. My marriage is struggling and I found you guys and really started looking at myself and realized how much it was me. How do I get my husband to do the work? I've asked him to watch you guys. Well, you start by setting an example.
You start by setting the example.
Right? You be the best version of you that you can be. Mm-hmm. And as he comes around to what's going on, he's going to want to be better for you.
Show him that this is not like a diet fad. This is not something you're going to do for 2 or 3 weeks and then it's going to end.
Right.
There is probably a lot of hurt there. A lot of, can I trust that this is going to happen? Is this real change or is she just trying to get on my good graces for a fallout?
Right.
Does she want something? It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. You have to have grace with him. A part of growing as a person and changing who you are is having grace with the people that you've hurt. Because not only Do they have to process the changes that you're making? They're going to have to let go of whatever grudges that they're holding on to in the past.
And they will be.
Definitely
Everyone
will be.
is. Yep. One more super that came through that I have to read.
Okay.
From Josh. Since I started taking accountability for my own actions and faults, I have gotten 4 raises in 3 months, and the lady seems a lot happier that I catch myself when I start to escalate disagreements. 4 raises in 3 months is fucking huge. The relationship is super dope too, but like you have affected your life so much that it's not just your person that's seeing it. It's everyone around you.
Your quality of life is improving.
Right. Yep.
It bleeds everywhere, guys. Everything bleeds. Inks, pens, highlighters, a person when you cut them. Everything does. Your energy, your mindset, the way that you think, the way that you speak to yourself is going to bleed into the outer world.
Right. And this falls back to the first super chat that we just read.
Yes.
Yep. Work on you. Don't worry so much about what they're doing yet. Prove it for 5 or 6, 7, 8 months. You'll start to see a change in them. And if you don't, ask them why. Be like, hey, over the last 8 months, I've really been working on myself. Start the check-ins.
Yeah.
What am I doing that I haven't done yet that I can improve on? And then give them the same feedback. Check-ins go a long fucking way, guys.
They do.
A long, long way.
Another thing to maybe do, something that I have done, is I've come to you and be like, look, I've noticed that this is a problem that I've done, and I've started implementing this, and you've hit me with, I don't even notice.
Yeah.
Like, I would notice something frustrates you, I would change it, and when I hear, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, perfect. If you have no idea what I'm referring to, that means I'm doing the best thing I can, and I am not causing any further agitation.
Whole lot of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Selflessness instead of selfishness.
So William says, I don't talk about feelings. He's here and he's talking, and that is doing something. He made the choice. He made the choice not to go to work. He made the choice not to reach out to family. He made the choice to leave his house and seek help because he's depressed. So he gets Todd talking, and Todd says, since she's left, I apologize. William says, since she's left, I've gathered that you've chosen to sit home and not go to work. Is that right? And Todd goes, Doctor, you don't understand. I read this super dramatically because that's just how I view that. That's
because you watch a lot of TV.
It's not even that.
You did watch a lot of TV.
That's just how I am as a person. When I am in my feels, I know I'm in my feels. No, not all the time. There are times where...
not all the time.
There are times where I am overly dramatic. I am having a whole self-realization moment right now. Holy shit. Okay, no, that's for self-exploration later. Okay, so I dramatize things, and I overreact, and Doctor, you don't understand. That's because that's just it's very extreme to blame everything on happening in your life on an outside variable.
Right.
And as he goes, oh, it's your phone.
Yeah, we got another super.
Okay.
We did our first check. It's from Jordan. We did our first check-in last night, and I'm working hard on myself and my relationship. Thank you, Chris and Peaches, for everything you do. I actually texted him this morning about his check-in to see how it went, and he said that he's noticed a vast difference in his relationship since he started listening to the podcast.
I love that.
Hey, when we're done, don't let me forget that I need to bolt that treadmill back together.
Okay.
We got it standing up. I just gotta. Yeah.
Dope. So he says, Doctor, you don't understand. I haven't chosen to sit home. And then William goes, you're right. I don't understand. That's when I hit people with elaborate. How can you say you haven't chosen to sit home? Has anyone been making you sit at home? And he doesn't even answer that. Todd goes, but I've been too upset to go to work. I haven't chosen anything. I have been upset since I've read the note. It's her fault that I'm not going to work. So we're going to break it down. Because I'm assuming those of you who are here have been following and have the information from previous things. Because I don't have my notebook on me. So I'm not going to flutter back into the past. He is blaming her for the fact that he hasn't gone to work because he wrote a note that she left on the fridge for leaving him. Just the note, leaving the note is information. Where's she at? I wonder where she is. Oh, I know where she is. She fucking left me. You now have an answer to the question that you've been asking yourself. You now have new information that she's left. And you have a plethora of choices in front of you. You can sit there and cry. You can scream. You can try to blow her phone up, call her, try to get a hold of her, maybe call her mom. You can sit down in the living room and maybe really sit down and think what happened. You can choose to not go to work. You can choose not to shower. You can maybe take this time and reflect on the things that she said, like you're too domineering. And go, okay, well, she said that. That could be the reason. After doing the work that I've done on myself and living the life that I've lived and reading the books and taking in all the process, there really is no other way for me to process information. So I don't understand the mindset of, she left me, I can't go to work, I'm too upset. I didn't have somebody to pay my bills when I was depressed. I didn't have somebody providing food for my kids. I didn't have somebody coming and cleaning my house. I didn't have somebody driving me to work. I didn't have somebody bathing me. If I decided to just sit there and be depressed, not only would my life fall apart, my kids' life would fall apart. It could get to the point to where it could be viewed as neglect. And letting it get to that point is always a choice.
Yep. By not doing anything, you're choosing to not do anything.
Right.
That in itself is a choice.
Yeah.
People get really hung up on this shit. And they always want to throw examples and like try to talk down what we're doing like we haven't fucking thought this through yet. This is documented shit. It's not just like we sat down and made this up. Like,
this was written in 1998.
Yeah. Yep.
This book is older than my sister. I'm just wondering, with people with the external control mindset, just how sad is life right now?
Well, I mean, most of them live in a victim mentality.
Right.
So it is pretty sad.
It is.
It's so easy to throw shade and blame and make everything else the problem except for your actions, because everybody wants to believe that they live this perfect little fucking existence and that they can do no wrong, when in reality, everyone on the planet is extremely fucked up, and the best that we can do is take accountability and start making changes. That's it.
that was really it.
Choose your fucking hard.
Yeah. Really blows my mind that people are so unwilling to take accountability. I apologize to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm overwhelmed and I'm frustrated and I have so much going on in my mind and I lose like focus on my volume control, if I raise my voice, I apologize to the kids. Mm-hmm. I pull them aside and say, look, I'm sorry. I should not have yelled at you. That's my fault. I'm sorry. And they say, it's okay. I accept your apology. And I explain to them, this is what was happening. And because you did this, after I've told you not to do this twice already, I lost my mind. And the kids know that, that phrase. They joke about it now. It's funny for them. But I've been too upset to work. I haven't chosen anything. I haven't been upset since I've read that note. William says that you chose to come to me today. And Todd said, but I need help, and that's why I came here. He asks her, have you tried to contact her? Have you ever heard from her? Have you heard anything from her since she's left? And he's like, no, I haven't tried reaching out to her. I'm just hoping that she's going to call me. So not only is he just sitting there depressed about the fact that she's left, he's doing absolutely nothing to reestablish a connection to try to fix things. He said that I thought about trying to find her, but then I thought that we might get into a fight and that would make things worse. For a little while, I was really angry, and then when it sank in that she was gone, I got really sad. He says that I love her and I don't know what to do. I don't want to be domineering. It's just the way that I am. I see your thoughts.
I'm just that shit annoys me.
Yeah. The way that I am.
Yeah, it's not just the way that you are. It's your choice. You have behavioral patterns that you've learned your entire fucking life, and instead of trying to do better and work on those behavioral patterns and establish new ones and reset your default settings, you're just be like, yeah, it's just the way that I am.
Right.
Deal with it. Meh. I don't believe that.
Me either. He goes on to say that his dad was like that and it didn't seem to bother my mom. Maybe that's where I learned it from.
Excuses.
And William says, does it matter who you learned it from?
Right. Yep.
Damn.
This is where you are right now because of what you've done. And that applies to everyone listening. You are exactly where you are right now in your life because of every decision you've ever fucking made.
Yes. You know what I love doing late at night when I got nothing going on my brain and I backtrack. Present moment, like right now I'm laying in bed next to my husband. My kids are asleep. We had an amazing day. We watched fireworks. And I backtrack my life. And I go through all of the good things that have happened in the last few years to the bad things that happened in the years previous to that, down to my childhood. And I can see every little fucking connection getting to me to where I am now as a human being. All of the abuse that I witnessed, all of the abuse that I went through has built me up into who I am. All of the good things that I saw as a child, people helping people, the compassion that I witnessed, has the lack of compassion that I witnessed. Everything has built me into who I am. A lot of people aren't able to backtrack that way through their past because it's too painful. It hurts too much. It's too traumatizing. It's too scary. When you aren't able to sit down and look at your past and connect the dots. If you can't connect the dots, you will never know where you're going to be in the future because it's just pure chaos. It's like that little bumper car game where the ball's just bouncing between shit. You don't know where it's going to land. Does that all make sense? Mm-hmm. He says, I'm not interested in your parents. You're a grown up. I'm interested in what you're choosing to do now. I am interested in what you want, and I'm interested in helping you choose some way to get it if I can. We have to deal with the fact that she left. Do you think that she's gone for good? And Todd says, that's just it. I've just been racking my brain. I don't know. If she was thinking of coming back, I think she might have left some of her stuff, but it's all gone and it's cleaned. And it happened so suddenly, I just don't know what to do. He goes on to ask, if you could talk to her right now, what would you tell her? And Todd said that he would apologize, that he took her for granted, that he was such an asshole, and all of these other things that he, looking back now, should have changed in the moment when she said something about it.
Right. His fucking therapist told him, I don't care about what your parents did. You're an adult. Fuck, dude. Yeah. I love that shit.
I kind of want it on a t-shirt.
Yep.
Yeah. He says that I would never admit that she could do anything right. So Todd's dancing around. I don't want to look like an asshole. You really looked at your woman and denied her any of the wins that she could have had in your relationship because of your pride? Mm. If I came to you and I showed you the new growth on my plants and you never cared about them, but only pointed out when there was a dead leaf, I'd be like, I don't want you a part of anything. Don't even look over here.
Yeah, go away, negative Nancy. You bitter Betty.
And
Pathetic Patsy.
What did you say?
Pathetic Patsy.
Pathetic Patsy.
I don't know. It was the only thing I could come up with peace that quickly.
That made me think of a peppermint patty.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I really want Indian food. Can I do Indian food?
No.
Okay.
No, we're done with all that shit. We really need to get our diets back on check.
Okay. He said that he would never admit she could do anything right. Always some little thing was wrong. She called me Mr. Perfect, not in a mean way or anything like that, and I thought that it was a compliment.
No, he fucking didn't. Nobody would take that as a compliment.
Right.
Even in a joking manner, and you're like, damn, okay.
Yeah. We never fought. We made love. About a week before she left, she said things weren't working out the way she wanted. She communicated everything to this man. And because he was so in the throes of having to be right and almighty and on his pedestal, he lost his relationship. She asked if I felt that way. I said that the only thing that bothered me was that she didn't seem really happy. I told her she should try to be happier. She said that she's been trying, but it didn't seem she could do it. She asked me if I thought that there was anything I could do. I said that I've done everything that I could do. I've always done everything I could do. I don't see how I could do any more. She said that she said she guessed that I would say that. After that, she seemed a little happier, and I thought things were better, and that's why I was so surprised when she left.
She was happier because she knew she was fucking leaving your ass.
Yeah, she was like, that's what I needed.
Yep.
That was the closure.
Yep. Let me go ahead and start packing my things.
Yep.
Removing the stuff that you're not going to notice gone right away, just to kind of get it out of here.
She got the closure. That's insane. And it's all in front of him, and because he was so emotionally invested in it and selfish in himself, he didn't see it. William asked, you still think you couldn't have done anything a little differently in that situation? He didn't say it that way. He said, you don't think you could have anything differently? I added, you don't think you could have done anything just a little differently there? Just a little different. Tiny bit.
Get it together, Todd.
Todd says, oh, no. Now I see I could have done a lot of things differently. But how do I tell her that? She's gone. I've waited for her to call, but she hasn't. So again, I can't tell her what I need to tell her because she's not calling me. She hasn't initiated conversation. So how do I even tell her that I changed everything? I'm going to change everything. In this day and age of technology, how do I even just go about? Baby, come back.
Todd's playing the victim.
Todd is hardcore. You know, I think there's paintings of it of wrecked ships where the waves are just going everywhere, right? And the ship's in the middle and it's just, whew. That is Todd in the victim mentality right now, just wave after wave. Little does he know, all he's got to do is just turtleneck it a little bit and there's air. He's in like a 2-inch bathtub right now. Don't you want to tell her that you miss her and that you love her and that you're willing to change? And Todd says, of course, but how? Even if I knew where she was, I'm afraid that I would screw things up. I'd just make things worse. I'm not the kind of guy who can admit that this is my fault. And then mom would be like, hey, Todd, you want to say that one more time? I'm hard of hearing a little bit. Can you repeat that last sentence for me? You'd be like, yeah, no problem, Doc. What was the sentence? Now I really am confused, Todd. Can you say it one more time? How do I tell her that? Of waited on place. Of course, I'm not the kind of guy who can admit that it was my fault. I really did just forget that sentence. I'm so glad I reread that. When you are unable to take that accountability of, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have raised my voice at you like that. I don't want to talk to you that way. Babe, you are fucking killing it right now in every aspect of life. Get it. I am proud to be your man. I would rather see the look on your face of me understanding the way that my actions have impacted you and knowing that you have that sense of relief of like, okay, she gets it. She understands. It's not going to be a problem again. Versus me standing my ground and going, this is just the way I am. You have to fucking accept it. I couldn't imagine wanting to be at war just to stand my ground of being wrong.
Yeah.
Insane to me. I feel at peace when I know that you're at peace, especially when it comes to our marriage. Every aspect.
Are we at a good pausing point?
I can just breeze through the rest of it and get to a pausing point.
You said that you said that this would be a 2-part thing.
Okay.
So if this is going to be a 2-part thing, let's get to that point, read the super chats and call it.
So I'm just going to continue because this whole chapter is solely focused on this conversation with Todd.
Right.
So I'm going to get through the conversation, end it, and then on next week's live, we'll dissect the conversation and hit his talking points about what it means to depress.
Dope.
And all those kinds of things. So Todd says that he can't admit that it's fault. The first thing that I would do is blame her. I'm depressed, but I'm still a little angry. She should not have left me the way that she did. And I'm certain that she feels exactly the same way, that you shouldn't have treated her the way that you did. You shouldn't have put her down the way that you did.
This is exactly why we talk accountability the way that we do.
Yeah.
Because it's your fault.
It is.
Okay, I guess maybe that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but because there is a difference between taking the blame and being at fault.
Right.
And you should be able to take the blame in the things that's going on in your life because you have ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what the fuck you did wrong and fix it.
Yeah.
Crying about it after the fact's not going to help anything.
Yesterday, I was sitting in the kitchen. The kitchen was a mess, destroyed. I had spices everywhere. Nothing was done. The kids were home. It's the 4th of July. I have food to make. Everything was disorganized. I had to read this fucking book. And the kids have not left me alone. I sat down on that little stool to clean up the counter, and they would come back inside. And I would sit back down, and they would come back inside. And I was sitting at the kitchen counter crying. And I'm like, you're overwhelmed. You're stressed. You need to take a deep breath. You need to calm yourself down. If you get emotional right now in this moment, you're going to ruin the kids' day. You're going to ruin Chris's day. You're not going to have a good day. Like, everybody's going to be on edge. All because you're a little bit overwhelmed because you have 4 things to do today. I don't remember why I said that. It was correlated to something that you were talking about.
Just taking accountability for your actions.
Oh, yeah. So in that moment, I sat down and I was like, you need to get your shit together. I could have a total meltdown right now and say I have all of the shit I need to get done and the counter is a mess and bitch about it. And then 45 minutes goes by and I'm finally calm. And now I've just wasted 45 minutes in my own little temper tantrum instead of just sitting there crying for 3 minutes, dabbing my face saying, okay, I feel a little bit better now and getting the shit done.
Right.
Nobody in the house knew that happened. The day went about perfectly. Everybody had a dope day. My day wasn't ruined. I felt the emotion. I processed what I needed to process and I went about the day. So he goes on to ask Todd, well, let me make a suggestion to you. Write her a letter. That way she's not waiting for you on the other line of the phone for a response. It's not a text message. You don't know that she's read it already, anxious, sitting there looking at the phone, waiting for the response. Send her the letter. She can read it. She can think about it and then reach out to you when she's comfortable doing so. And he did that and he was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm here for that. Fuck yeah. I'm on board. Let's do it. I'm feeling good. Todd's hyped. He writes the letter. He sends it off. And Todd's like, you know what? I'm going to start doing things for myself now. In writing that letter, he just took control of that situation.
Yep.
It was, she left. She's not calling. I'm not going to reach out to her. I'm too scared. It's going to be a fight. I might hurt her. He wrote a letter. He regained control in his situation and in his life. So he started going back to work again. Started cleaning up the house a little bit more. William goes on to said, if he was still in his wife's quality world, the letter might have worked. It didn't. It was too far gone. He's fucked up too many times with a lack of accountability in the relationship. She came to a session with him and she was like, look, we've been married for 4 years. I owe this to you just to see. She goes to the counseling. Man pours his heart out and she says, look, we've been married for 4 years and I owed you this. You're not a bad guy. You're just not for me. I can't take a chance with you. You sound great now, but it's because I put pressure on you. It's game over for you. She said, it's a game over for you. It's a game for you and you hate to lose. It's not a game for me and it's over. I don't want anything that's not my fair share, no alimony, nothing, just my part of what we saved while we were married. I can make it okay by myself. And that was it. She left. Todd didn't understand what happened. He was like, I thought this would work. Like, I took ownership. Everything was great. You have to understand that even when you take ownership, doesn't make amends for the things that you did in your past. They can accept your apology. They do not have to accept you back in their life. So Todd goes on to say, I can't live without her. And William doesn't beat around the bush. He's like, that's a pretty dramatic statement. Are you planning on unaliving yourself? And they sit there in silence, and Todd goes, no, I don't know where to go from here. This is the worst I've ever felt about anything ever. I don't play that game of, not saying that Todd was playing that game. He's feeling his emotions in this moment. People do that though. I'm going to hurt myself if you don't come back to me. If you don't come back to me, I'm going to unalive myself. I had an ex send me a photo of himself self-harming, saying that if you don't come back, whatever is going to happen. I was like, I'm not doing this with you. And I called the cops and they did a wellness check. Like, I don't play that game.
Right.
You're not going to guilt me. You're not going to make me feel bad. You've manipulated me this whole time and you're trying to do it still. I'm done.
Enjoy that 72-hour hold, bud.
We don't play the game. You want to play a stupid game, you're going to win a stupid prize. And that stupid prize is now you're going to get a psych eval and hopefully you're going to get some help. William said that if he had any worried that Todd was going to hurt himself, he would not have asked that question.
Right.
He knew that Todd had other aspects of his life going for him. He had a great career. He was happy before the relationship ended. He's going to be happy after the relationship ended. He's seen this far too many times. He knows the identifiers of somebody who's actually getting into that. So Todd goes, no, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to feel awful for a long time. I really love her. And William says, take as long as you want. Unhappy people are how I make my living. And Todd goes, pretty much, fuck you.
Yeah.
He says, you don't take this very seriously, do you? And William's like, not very. Because I know the rest of this story and it's going to be okay. You're in the throes of it. You're going through it. I'm outside of this telling you in about 30 minutes, the storm's going to pass. You're in this and I'm looking at the horizon of the rainbow already.
Yeah.
So he goes on to explain to Todd that I've seen this over and over and over again over my years of doing this. You're not the only person who goes through this kind of thing. What I'm doing with you now is to show you that the choices you make are a direct correlation to your life. I've seen it work. People have come back and their lives have improved. And he's like, now it's up to you. At this point, we can continue doing this and I can help you do whatever. And Todd's like, yeah, let's get it. And then at that point, he starts getting into how he explains that you depress, you're not affected by depression.
Right.
So I think that is a good pausing place to go into part 2 of chapter 4 next Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Let me open all my shit back up. Let's, AJ, if you could send the supers if we have any we haven't read, that would be gangster. Todd's pissing me off.
I just read that. I was like, bro, Todd's kind of getting under my skin too. Don't worry. Todd gets it together. He becomes an amazing
Todd
man.
sucks. Todd has noob energy. I only know one Todd, and he was nice, but it's not this Todd. I never use it, but Todd deserves it. Oh, the chat never disappoints.
I'm going to make one of those green chef meals for lunch today.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
You're just doing all
that.
the plugs today. Giving away all the advertisements.
I am.
Advertisements. All right. Casey said, hey there. I first want to say I love watching your content. The question I have, is there a way to move past my partner cheating in the past? How do I rebuild trust while he's shown me he is changing? Did you agree that you were going to stay together and actually move past this? Because forgiveness can take time.
Right.
But you can't live in that moment. You have to actually start living your life as if you guys are normal again and start letting him earn that trust.
And it's not saying living like it never happened.
Right.
You're definitely going to have moments of, I need reassurance right now.
Yep. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And he needs to be okay with that.
There are going to be moments where you're angry and you're crying. You're like, fuck you for doing this to me. And he has to accept that.
Yep.
And you have to get through that emotion. You have to process it together. Don't scream. Don't yell. I tell the kids all the time, you can be angry. Said that to our daughter this morning. She lied to me this morning. Didn't put her socks on in her shoes and she lied about it. So I took her tablet. And we're sitting in the car and she's like, Mommy, I'm angry at you. I'm like, it's okay to be angry. And she started kicking the back seat. I was like, we're not going to do that. I was like, We don't kick anything. We don't hit people. We don't scream. We don't throw things. I was like, you are welcome to be angry. You can sit there and be mad all you want. You can be mad at me. You can tell me you're mad at me, but you're not going to kick my car. You're not going to throw things. And you're not going to speak to me the way that you want to be nasty. You can feel your emotions.
Yep.
The way you conduct yourself and feeling those emotions is what matters.
Bioso and I just started weekly check-ins on Sunday. It's been 3 days, and changes that I've been asking for 3 years have already started happening. That's fucking huge.
Wow.
While you were reading that book, I had a thought, and I was going to say it at the end, and I let it go because I was waiting. There's a difference between changing because you want to change and changing because somebody else wants you to change.
Right. Feeling obligated.
Right. When you do it because you feel it's the right thing to do, you are more likely to succeed in cementing those changes versus when somebody else is wanting you to change and you're doing it to appease them, which is why we see so many people go a week or two doing what they want and then fall back in their old habits because the truth of the matter is they didn't really want to fucking change. They were doing it to appease you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that can be resolved, by simple conversation and letting people understand how you're feeling versus trying to blame them for the way you're feeling. Mm-hmm. Caroline said, I did with my ex 1 year prior. He told me to KMS. I don't know what that is. Bake Danny, like, share, subscribe, do all the things.
And alive yourself.
Oh, okay. Thanks for your content and amazing community. That's it. We only had a handful today.
How many people are watching?
309.
Ooh.
Yep.
I love that you guys are here.
Yeah. When I pulled all these screens back up, we were in like the 260s.
Yeah.
So it's jumped back up now that we're reading the comments. I think that we need to do another pop-up live at some point this week and just do Q&As or something. But
I agree with that.
I'm trying to land an interview with a sex therapist on Friday night, which is why I asked you earlier what you've got going on Friday. We have the documentary guy next Thursday. I'm working on the guy that works for Matrix Hormones to find out when he can come here because he physically wants to be here. I got to get that podcast room finished, the whiskey room, so that Jeff Graham can come and actually do the interview with him. But the things are, they're moving. Things are moving.
Lorraine said, just so Chris knows, I'm not offended from earlier.
I appreciate that, Lorraine. I really do try not to come across as a fuckface to you guys, and sometimes I realize my tone might sound that way, and it's not my intent. Yeah. And it's funny because when people see me actually get angry, they never question that again.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, that's just how he talks. And then, trust me, you'll fucking know when he's angry.
Yeah.
But, ooh. We were up to 380 earlier.
Oh, wow. Kind of want to go get my heavy-duty medicated pen.
Yeah, well, we're getting off of here.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I want to go over a couple things. Oh, there's another super chat. Can this book help a parent with a child extreme ADHD? It might help you with decision making. I got to be honest. This whole mental illness aspect where everybody's like, well, what about this person's mental illness and what about that person and how do I deal with this and how do I deal with that? The answer to a lot of that to me is empathy.
Yeah. Ooh, couldn't tell we were a 380 with so few likes. How disappointing.
Yep. Yep. Chaotic Thought says, I appreciate Chris's bluntness.
I appreciate it too.
You should read the ADHD Advantage as well. It's a great book. Has that been put on our reading list yet? Vanessa said, I have a friend and her kid has ADHD and it's extreme and I'm trying to help her with her child. I wonder what that child's diet looks like. I know that's a very odd thing to say, but if he's eating chicken nuggets and french fries every night of his fucking life, his ADHD is going to be so much worse than it would be if he had like a colorful,
balanced diet.
Right. And I know for a fact that your gut health regulates your emotional health. And we know that when you eat a lot of high sugar diets, or you have a high processed food diet, even if you don't have ADHD, you can have ADHD like symptoms. And if that's the case, that means people who actually have ADHD, their symptoms are going to be so much fucking worse if their diet's not in check. Food is medicine, guys.
It is.
Chris's bluntness gets a lot of giggles out of my husband. That's because I'm right. And he's uncomfortable laughing, or he's like I am, and he's like, that's right, you fucking tell him. Ha ha ha.
Get him.
That's funny. We should put that book on the reading list because I would like to read it, and I actually referenced that reading list quite a bit. She is on a 5150 right now. That's the same thing as a psychiatric hold here in Florida. We call it a Baker Act. There they call it a 5150.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually people who like the 5150 California code thing is supposed to be like you're crazy.
Yeah.
But it's not. It means you got put on a psychiatric hold. But unless you've been like labeled as criminally insane, which I think is a different code, I'd have to text somebody to find out what that code is. The chick that I'm friends with that works in that field's like 5150 is nothing. You should check out this. And she gave me the other code. I'm like, oh yeah, those guys are like eat their own poop crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right, guys. With that being said, I think we're gonna call this, and
I'm gonna go cook us lunch.
yes, yeah, let's do that. I have editing to do to get this AG1 ad done. I don't want to be too behind on all of that.
I have really nothing else to do today.
Yeah. I also would like to talk to you further about these live reads off camera. I have some ideas.
Okay.
So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed what we're doing. What advice would you give to people pleasers?
Learn the word no.
Yeah. It's the shortest sentence on the fucking planet. Yep. All right, guys. We are going to end this. We will probably do a Q&A pop-up live at some point this weekend. So if you are not subscribed to the channel and your notifications are not on, you will not know that that's happening.
Yep.
We will see you guys later.
See you guys on the next pop-up live.